Let me hit you with this straight. I didn't walk into my 30th birthday party. I walked into a public execution. No balloons. No cake. No surprise. Just 75 people staring at me like I was on trial, and my own father holding a red folder like he was about to end my life. My name's Summer. I'm 30 years old. ICU nurse. The kind who works night shifts, wipes blood off her shoes, and holds strangers' hands while they take their last breath. I thought I was showing up to finally be celebrated. Instead, I was about to be erased. The room was dead silent when I walked in. You know that kind of silence. The kind that presses on your chest, makes your ears ring. I froze in the doorway, heels clicking once too loud against the marble floor. Every single face turned toward me. No hugs. Just judgment. My dad stood at the front of the room behind a long table. My mom beside him. My sister off to the side, phone already in her hand. On the table sat one red folder. My stomach dropped. Sit down, Summer, my father said into a microphone. Not, happy birthday. Not, we love you. Sit down. I did. Because I always did what I was told. That's when he opened the folder and said the words that split my life clean in half. You're not our daughter. I swear, my heart didn't just stop. It fell. Like it dropped out of my chest and shattered on the floor in front of everyone. He held up papers like evidence in a courtroom. DNA results, cold. Clinical. Final. My mom didn't even look sad. She looked relieved. You were never ours, she said. We took you in. We raised you. And now you owe us. Before I could even process that sentence, she snatched my car keys out of my hand. This car? Not yours? My sister laughed. Then I realized why she was filming. Live. Streaming. Thousands of strangers watching my humiliation in real time while my family sat there like an audience. And here's the part that still hurts the most: not one person spoke up for me. Not my uncle who taught me to ride a bike. Not my aunt who hugged me at Christmas. 75 people. 75 witnesses. Then my dad dropped the final bomb. We spent $500,000 raising you, he said, and we want it back. $500,000. Or else. And just when I thought it couldn't get worse, I noticed him. A man standing alone in the corner. Not family. Not smiling. Wearing a tailored charcoal suit that screamed money and authority. His eyes locked on me. Not with judgment, but with something that felt like pain, like recognition, like regret. My dad saw me looking and snapped, ignore him. But before I could ask who he was, the man spoke. Gerald. He said calmly, not yet. My father turned pale. And that's when I realized something terrifying. This wasn't just a birthday ambush. This was a cover-up. And the man in the corner. He knew the truth. Before I tell you what happened inside that room, I need to rewind 4 weeks. Back to the moment I should have known something was wrong. It was 2013 a.m., ICU break room. Fluorescent lights buzzing, coffee gone cold in my hand. That's when my phone lit up. Brianna, my younger sister, never called unless she wanted something. Money, a ride, or emotional backup for whatever influencer drama she was drowning in that week. Summer, oh my God, you are not gonna believe this. She squealed the second I answered. I lowered my voice. Brie, I'm at work. Someone dying every 5 minutes. What's up? You're getting a surprise 30th birthday party. I actually laughed. Out loud. Not because it was funny, because it was impossible. A party for me. I said yes. Mom and Dad are going all out. Like AL out. Everyone's invited. Aunt Dorothy, Uncle Robert, the Ohio cousins. Literally the whole family. My grip tightened around the coffee cup. In 30 years, my parents had never thrown me a party. Not for my 18th, not for my 21st, not when I graduated nursing school top of my class. But Brianna, her 21st birthday cost $15,000 at a country club. 5-tier cake. Dad crying during a speech about his princess. My 21st. Meatloaf. And, money's tight this year, sweetheart. Are you sure? I asked carefully. Mom and Dad don't really do parties for me. That's what makes it special, Brianna said. They said 30 is a big deal. A fresh start. Fresh start. That phrase should have scared me. It didn't. I wanted to believe them. I needed to believe them. After we hung up, I just sat there staring at my reflection in the vending machine glass. Dark circles under my eyes, hair shoved into a messy bun, scrubs that smelled like antiseptic and exhaustion. Maybe things were changing. Maybe after all these years, they finally saw me. God, I was desperate for that to be true. The week before the party, I did what I always do when I'm anxious. I ran the numbers. 7 years as an ICU nurse. Every month, without fail, I sent 500 home to help my parents. Rent, utilities, emergencies, that's 42,000 total. I never asked for it back, never even mentioned it. Meanwhile, Brianna, 50,000 Instagram followers, 0 real income, still lived in my parents' basement. Last month, she asked Dad for 8,000 for her content business. He wrote the check like it was nothing. When my car broke down 3 years ago, I asked for help with a down payment on a used Honda. Dad looked at me like I'd asked for a kidney. "You're strong," he said. "You'll figure it out." So I did. Extra shifts, loans, no complaining. Mom always said the same thing. Brianna's still finding herself. You don't need us. Translation. I was easy to ignore. 3 days before the party, something else happened. Something I didn't connect until it was too late. I got an email from the hospital. I was being considered for charge nurse. 5 years of grinding, of blood and burnout, and I was finally being seen. There was just one catch. They needed a recommendation letter from someone with board connections. "You're Gerald Patterson's daughter, right?" My manager asked casually. I called Dad that night. He sounded almost pleased. "A recommendation letter," he said. "Of course, sweetheart, sweetheart." He never called me that. "I'll give it to you at your birthday party." He added, "Make it special." Something about his tone felt rehearsed, polished, too smooth. But I ignored it, because hope will make you forgive red flags you'd never tolerate in anyone else. I bought a new navy blue dress. Professional, modest, worthy. I thought I was dressing for celebration. I had no idea I was dressing for judgment. The night of the party, I stood in front of my bathroom mirror longer than I want to admit. Not fixing anything, just staring. The navy blue dress fit perfectly. Clean lines, professional. The kind of outfit that says I have my life together, even if you're barely holding it together inside. My makeup was soft, polished. Nothing flashy. I wanted to look respectable. Like someone worth celebrating. I even bought my parents a gift. Yeah, I brought a gift to my own birthday party. A leather-bound photo album. Family pictures I'd spent weeks collecting. Holidays, vacations, smiles that now felt staged. That was me though. Always giving. Always trying to earn what should have been free. Before I left, I caught myself thinking about being 10 years old. Painting a Mother's Day picture for hours. Watercolors. A garden scene. I'd been so proud of it. Mom glanced at it once, then gasped over Brianna's stick figure drawing. "Oh sweetheart, you're such an artist?" My painting went into a drawer. I found it years later. Still rolled up. Never framed. I shook the memory off and grabbed my keys. That's when I saw Brianna. She was sitting in her car across the street from my apartment, phone pointed straight at my Honda. "What are you doing?" I asked, walking over. She smiled too fast. "Nothing. Just admiring your car." Something icy slid down my spine. "Can I borrow it sometime?" she added. "Sir," I said automatically. She grinned. "Cool. See you inside, sis." As she drove off, my stomach tightened, but I ignored it. I was really good at ignoring warnings. The Grand Oak restaurant glowed like a promise. Chandeliers, warm light, expensive cars lining the curb. Through the windows, I could see shadows moving, people laughing. What looked like a celebration. My parents had reserved the entire private dining room. They'd only ever done that once before. For Brianna? I sat in my car for a moment, practicing my surprised face. "Oh my God, you shouldn't have! Silly you guys!" Pathetic, right? But I wanted to give them the moment they wanted. I wanted this night to finally mean something. I walked inside. Marble floors. Soft music. A hostess smiled. "The Patterson party?" she asked. I nodded. "Right through those doors." I took a breath, pushed them open, and the world stopped. No music. No laughter. No decorations. Just 75 people turning toward me at the exact same time. Silence slammed into my chest. My rehearsed smile froze on my face as I scanned the room. Uncle Robert, arms crossed. Aunt Dorothy clutching her purse like a shield. Cousins I hadn't seen in years. Eyes darting away from mine. No balloons. No cake. Just one long table at the center of the room. And on it, a single red folder. My parents stood behind it, not smiling, not welcoming, waiting. Summer, my dad said into a microphone. My heart dropped into my stomach. Sit down. The chair facing them was already pulled out, placed like someone had measured the distance. Like this was planned. As I sat, I noticed something else. A woman in the corner with a professional camera. Not a party photographer. A videographer. They were recording. Dad. My voice sounded small. What's going on? He didn't answer. He opened the red folder. Do you know why we invited everyone here tonight? He asked. My birthday. I said. No, he replied coldly. Witnesses. The word echoed. Witnesses. To what? That's when he lifted the papers. Summer, he said, voice steady, practiced. Your mother and I had a DNA test done. My ears rang. The results are conclusive. I gripped the arms of the chair. You are not our biological daughter. Gasps rippled through the room. Someone whispered. I always knew something was off. My mom stepped forward, eyes sharp. We took you in. We raised you. And now it's time you pay us back. Before I could even speak, she lunged. Her fingers ripped my car keys from my hand. This car, ours. That's when I heard it. A familiar voice, way too excited. Smiles Summer. Brianna. Her phone was inches from my face, the red live icon blinking. And just like that, my humiliation went public. Let me be clear about something. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I didn't lose it. I froze. Because when you're raised to survive emotional landmines, your body learns one thing really well: don't react. Don't give them the satisfaction. My dad slid another paper out of the red folder. Numbers, dates. A spreadsheet. This, he said, tapping it with his finger, is an itemized list of everything we spent raising you. Food, clothes, housing, education. He paused, letting the moment stretch. Total cost, $500,000. The room buzzed. $500,000. And we want it back. My chest felt hollow. You can't be serious. I whispered. My mom stepped in, voice sharp. You've had a good life because of us. Everything you have, your job, your education, came from our sacrifices. That's not true, I said. I paid for my schooling, I worked full-time. Because your father opened doors, she snapped. Without him you'd be nothing. I looked around. Uncle Robert nodded. Someone muttered, she's got a point. My legs went numb. Before I could respond, my dad pushed a document across the table. A contract. Promissory note. Sign it tonight, he said. 10-year repayment plan. I scanned the numbers. Monthly payments that would bury me until I was 40. I need time to read this, I said, forcing my voice to stay steady. You'll sign now? He replied. Or we sue. My sister leaned in, phone still recording. Say something, Summer, she whispered. The comments are blowing up. I glanced at her screen. Thousands of strangers watching my life collapse in real time. Some defending me, some calling it fake, some just enjoying the chaos. That's when I noticed him again. The man in the corner. Charcoal suit, silver streaked hair, eyes locked on me like he was memorizing every second. He didn't look amused. He looked devastated. Who is that? I asked, pointing. Just for a second. No one. He snapped. Focus. Then, the man spoke. Gerald. The room went silent. Not yet. My father went pale. Security? My mom hissed. Ooh, let him in. No one moved. The man took a single step forward. Calm. Controlled. Let her finish asking her questions. My dad's authority evaporated in that moment. Summer, he said urgently, sign the document. I stood up. For the first time that night. You said I'm not your biological daughter. I said slowly. That you have DNA proof. Less. He replied. Then who are my biological parents? Silence. They're dead, he said too fast. Car accident. Years ago. Something clicked. That's impossible, I said. The room shifted. DNA tests require comparison samples. I continued. You can't just test mine and declare I'm not yours. My dad's mouth opened. Closed. So whose DNA did you use? I asked. If they're dead. Murmurs spread. Uncle Robert uncrossed his arms. Did you exhume a body? I pressed. Or, is one of my parents not dead at all? In the corner, the man stepped closer. My dad looked terrified. Oh my God! This is insane. Brianna giggled into her phone. Guys, this is getting so good. She didn't even realize what she'd done. What do you mean someone contacted Dad 3 months ago? I snapped, turning to her. Her smile faltered. I wasn't supposed to say that. The room went still. Who contacted him? I asked. A law firm. She mumbled. Something about mandatory disclosure. My heart slammed. Mandatory disclosure. I turned back toward the man in the corner. Our eyes met, and in that instant, I saw it. My eyes staring back at me. You're not dead, I whispered. He shook his head, tears forming. No, sweetheart, he said softly. I'm not. When he said that, no, sweetheart, I'm not. The room lost its oxygen. People gasped. Chairs scraped. Phones came out like reflexes. My knees almost gave out. You're supposed to be dead, I whispered. He shook his head slowly, like the weight of those words had lived on his shoulders for decades. That's what they told you? He asked gently. I nodded, barely breathing. My name is Marcus Whitfield, he said, stepping fully into the light. And I'm your biological father. Boom. The room erupted. What? No way. This is insane. My mother screamed. He's lying. He's a fraud. But my father said nothing, because his face had gone completely gray. Marcus turned to him, voice calm but lethal. Gerald, would you like to explain, or should I? Silence. That's when I knew this wasn't a surprise to them. It was exposure. Marcus looked back at me, his voice softening. Your biological mother's name was Catherine Hayes, he said. We loved each other. Deeply? He swallowed. When she got pregnant, her family panicked. They didn't want me. They didn't want the baby. I felt dizzy. They forced her to give you up, he continued, and your parents agreed to adopt you under conditions. What conditions? I asked. Marcus nodded toward my parents. The word hit like a slap. Paid. For 28 years, Marcus said, opening a thick folder. I sent them first $500 every month. Gasps again. That's over $500 Zalazard, he added. Every transfer documented. Every receipt signed. My mother let out a strangled sound. You took money to raise me? I asked, my voice breaking. She wouldn't look at me. It was compensation? She shouted, for taking in someone else's child. Unwanted. Marcus snapped. I begged to raise her myself. He turned to me, tears finally spilling. I agreed to stay away because I thought you'd be loved. I thought you'd be protected. My chest cracked open. I'm sorry, Summer, he said. I should have fought harder. Then he pulled out an envelope. Old. Yellowed. Soft at the edges. Your mother died when you were 5, he said quietly. Chancer. I felt my heart shatter. Before she passed, he continued, she wrote you a letter. He held it out like something sacred. My hands shook as I opened it. My dearest Summer, her words blurred as tears fell. You were never unwanted. Never a mistake. You were the greatest gift of my life. I pressed the letter to my chest. For the first time in my life, I knew I had been loved. Aunt Dorothy stood up then, shaking. I still have the receipts, she said, the ones Linda asked me to burn. My mother's face collapsed. You blackmailed me into silence, Dorothy cried. I can't do it anymore. The room turned on my parents. Whispers, stares, judgment, finally pointed in the right direction. My dad tried one last time. Summer, he said weakly. We're still your parents. I looked at him. No, I said calmly. You're not. I turned to the room. Not one of you defended me tonight, I said. I won't forget that. Then I walked out. Head high, letter in hand, and for the first time ever free. I didn't stay to watch the room implode. I walked out of that restaurant, pushed through the glass doors, and stepped into the cold night air like someone breaking the surface after almost drowning. My hands were shaking. My chest hurt. But I didn't stop walking. Behind me, my 30th birthday party turned into a crime scene. And thanks to Brianna, the entire internet was watching it happen live. She never turned the stream off. By the time I got home, kicked off my heels, and collapsed onto my couch, my phone was vibrating nonstop. Texts, missed calls, unknown numbers. I didn't answer a single one. I just sat there, holding Catherine's letter, reading it over and over until the words stopped blurring. You were never unwanted. That sentence alone rewrote my entire childhood. The next morning, The internet had done what it does best. It picked a side. Brianna's live stream meant to humiliate me had been clipped, reposted, and shared everywhere. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, Reddit threads with titles like, "Worst Parents Ever Caught on Livestream," "Family Tries to Extort Daughter," "Gets Exposed Instead," "Influencer Accidentally Cancels Her Whole Bloodline." The comments were brutal. "Why is the sister filming like this? Is a Netflix special. Those parents are evil. That poor woman. Give her a hug." Brianna tried to spin it. She posted a story saying, "Family situations are complicated. Please respect our privacy." Privacy. After she broadcast my breakdown to thousands, within 48 hours, brands pulled out. Sponsorship emails went quiet. Her follower count started dropping fast. Every new comment followed her like a shadow. "Aren't you the girl who streamed your sister's trauma?" She deleted the video. Too late. The internet never forgets. 2 days later, I got an email from the hospital. Subject line, "Meeting request urgent." My stomach dropped. Gerald had threatened me. He said he'd destroy my career. And he had connections. I barely slept that night. The next morning, I sat across from Dr. Rebecca Chen, the hospital director, bracing for impact. She folded her hands. "Summer, your father contacted us." I nodded. "I figured. He demanded we terminate your employment," she continued. "He attached a video." My heart slammed. "I can explain." She held up a hand. "I watched the entire thing." Silence stretched. "I saw you stay composed while being publicly attacked," she said calmly. "I saw you ask logical questions, and I saw you walk out with dignity." I blinked. "Then," she added, "I received a phone call from Marcus Whitfield. He owns 4 hospitals," she said, "and he made one thing very clear. He would not interfere in your career." My throat tightened. "He said you deserve to succeed on your own merit." She smiled. "The charge nurse position is yours." I exhaled for the first time in days. "Oh, and one more thing," she added. "Gerald Patterson's name has been removed from our benefactor wall." That felt good. Later, Aunt Dorothy called. She told me the aftermath. My parents turned on each other the moment I left. Accusations. Screaming. Secrets spilling out. Divorce papers followed not long after. Turns out, the public trial they staged for me exposed them instead. Funny how that works. I didn't meet Marcus in some fancy office with glass walls and assistants whispering into headsets. No boardrooms. No power moves. We met at a tiny coffee shop called the Bean Counter. Mismatched chairs. Burnt espresso. A chalkboard menu written by someone who clearly hated spelling. "This is where your mom and I used to come," Marcus said quietly, settling into a worn armchair in the corner. "Same spot. Same bad coffee." I looked around. This wasn't what I expected from a man rich enough to send $500,000 and disappear for 3 decades. "It's small," I admitted. He smiled. A sad, knowing smile. "Money doesn't fix what you lose," he said. "It just gives you nicer places to miss it from." We sat there for a moment, the air heavy with things neither of us knew how to say. "I don't know how to do this," I finally whispered. "I don't know how to have a father." Marcus reached across the table. "Not touching me yet, just close enough." "I don't know how to be one," he said. "But I'd like to try. If you'll let me." I didn't answer right away. Because here's the thing nobody tells you: finding out you were loved doesn't erase the years you felt disposable. "Why didn't you fight harder?" I asked. His shoulders sagged. "Because your mother was dying," he said. "And she was terrified." He stared into his coffee. "She made me promise not to push, not to scare her family into taking you somewhere I'd never find you." His voice cracked. "I kept telling myself I was protecting you, but the truth is, I was afraid of losing you completely." Silence sat between us, not awkward, heavy. "I read her letter 17 times, I said. "I think part of me still can't believe it's real." He nodded. "She loved you in a way that scared her. That kind of love makes people make bad decisions." We talked for hours. About my job, my night shifts, the patients who haunt my dreams. He listened, really listened, not trying to fix, not interrupting, just present. When we stood to leave, he didn't hug me. He waited. "That mattered. Same time next week?" he asked. I hesitated, then nodded. Yeah, I said. Same time. 3 months later, I signed the lease on my own apartment. 1 bedroom. 3rd floor. Tiny kitchen. Windows that stuck when it rained. It was perfect. Marcus offered to help with the down payment. I said no. I need to do this myself. He understood. On moving day, he showed up anyway. No money. No opinions. Just a toolbox and patience. We spent 6 hours building a bookshelf. It came out crooked. We laughed about it like it wasn't the most healing thing either of us had done in years. On my desk, I placed Catherine's photo. Every morning, I'll look at her face, and I see mine. I don't talk to my adoptive parents anymore. Not out of spite. Out of survival. Some relationships don't heal. They end. Aunt Dorothy still calls sometimes. Sends recipes. Asks about work I let her. Brianna. She deleted her account. Started over with mindfulness content. The comments followed her. Karma has Wi-Fi. Marcus and I meet every Sunday now. Sometimes we talk. Sometimes we sit in silence. I'm not ready to call him Dad. He never pushes. I don't need a title, he told me last week. I just need you in my life. That's enough. For now. For a long time, I kept asking myself why. Why did Gerald and Linda do what they did? Why turn my birthday into a public execution? Why demand money they'd already been paid? A therapist friend finally said something that hit harder than anything else. People who need control will destroy anything that threatens it. That was Gerald. His identity was built on being the powerful one. The provider, the gatekeeper, the man everyone respected. When Marcus resurfaced, that control cracked. And instead of facing the truth, Gerald attacked first. He didn't humiliate me because he hated me. He humiliated me because he was scared. Scared of being exposed. Scared of losing his image. Scared of being seen for who he really was. Linda was different. Her damage ran quieter and deeper. Every time she looked at me, she didn't see a daughter, she saw Catherine. The woman Marcus actually loved. The life she was never chosen for. I was a reminder she couldn't escape, so she kept me small. Not with bruises, not with screaming, but with comparison. Neglect. Silence. The most dangerous cruelty is the kind you can't prove. And then there was me. This part hurt the most to admit. I made it easy for them. 30 years of people pleasing. 30 years of shrinking myself to keep the peace. 30 years of telling myself if I just try harder, they'll finally love me. Here's the truth nobody wants to hear. People who use you don't want you to have worth. Your self-doubt is what makes you useful. I confused loyalty with self-sacrifice. Confused endurance with love. I thought being the strong one meant needing nothing. It doesn't. It means knowing when to walk away. Setting boundaries isn't revenge, it's self-respect. And sometimes, the family you're born into isn't the family you're meant to keep. That realization doesn't come with fireworks. It comes quietly, like exhaling after holding your breath for decades. I'm 30 now. I have a job I fought for. An apartment that's mine. A biological father learning how to show up. And a future that finally feels like it belongs to me. The Pattersons tried to destroy me. Instead, they set me free. Funny how the truth does that. About a month after the party, my phone started ringing again. Not random numbers. Not strangers, them. First Gerald. A long email. Carefully written. Polite. Strategic. I'm sorry things happened the way they did. You have to understand the pressure I was under. I never meant for it to go that far. Classic. An apology that somehow still centered him as the victim. I read it once. Then deleted it. No reply. No closure speech. No dramatic comeback. Just silence. Then Linda started calling. Once. 12 times. The voicemails evolved. At first, she was furious. You embarrassed us. You ruined this family. Then the anger cracked. Summer, please. We raised you. Finally, tears. I don't sleep anymore. I don't know who I am without you. That one almost worked. Almost. But here's what growth looks like. It's recognizing when guilt is being used as bait. Forgiveness doesn't mean reopening the door to people who burned the house down. So I let the calls go unanswered. Not because I hated them, but because I finally chose myself. Marcus never pushed me. He didn't say, you should cut them off. He didn't say, you owe me loyalty now. He just asked one thing. What do you need to feel safe? No one had ever asked me that before. I need peace, I said. He nodded. Then protect it. That was it. No lecture, no agenda, just respect. Meanwhile, life kept moving. My new apartment started to feel like home. I learned which floorboards creaked, which window leaked during rain, which coffee mug was mine. Every inch of it was earned. One Sunday, Marcus helped me hang shelves. He stood back, squinted, then said, "They're not straight." I smiled. "Neither am I." We laughed harder than we should have. That was the moment I realized. Healing doesn't always look heavy, sometimes it looks ordinary. One evening, Aunt Dorothy came over. She brought banana bread and guilt. "I don't expect forgiveness," she said quietly. "I just didn't want you to think I never cared." I looked at her, really looked. She was older now. Smaller. Tired. "I believe you," I said, but caring quietly still hurt me. She nodded. "I know." We sat in silence. That was enough. Here's the thing about forgiveness. It's not a finish line. It's not a prize for the person who hurt you. It's a choice you make when, and if, it brings you peace. I haven't forgiven Gerald and Linda. Maybe I never will, and that's okay. Because closure doesn't come from their apology. It comes from the life I built after them. And then, just when I thought the chapter was fully closed, something unexpected happened. Something that made me realize this story wasn't just about surviving a family, it was about redefining one. 3 months after my 30th birthday, the one that nearly broke me, I was standing in my kitchen, barefoot, wearing old scrubs, eating cereal straight out of the box. No chaos, no cameras, no judgment, just quiet. And for the first time in my life, quiet didn't feel lonely, it felt safe. Marcus was sitting at my crooked dining table, pretending not to notice that one leg was shorter than the others. He'd brought over bagels. Real ones. The good kind. "Still think you don't need a dining set?" he teased. "I survived 30 years without one," I said. "I'll be fine." He smiled. But there was pride in it, not the loud, performative kind my adoptive father loved. The quiet kind that says, "I see you." That afternoon, we went to the park. Nothing fancy. Kids screaming, dogs pulling on leashes, normal life happening all around us. At one point Marcus stopped walking. "Summer," he said, nervous now. "There's something I want you to know." I braced myself. "I'm not trying to replace anyone," he continued. "And I'm not asking you to forgive anyone. I just want you to understand this." He took a breath. "You don't owe me gratitude. You don't owe anyone loyalty that costs you your dignity." Something in my chest loosened. That's when it hit me. Family isn't who raised you. It's who protects your peace. That night, I framed Catherine's letter. Not because I was done grieving, but because I was done hiding it. I hung it above my desk where I chart patient notes and plan night shifts. Every time I feel tired, every time I feel invisible, I read her words. "You were never unwanted," and I believe them now. I still get messages sometimes. People who saw the live stream, people who recognized themselves in my story. They all ask the same thing: how did you survive that? Here's the honest answer. I stopped asking people to choose me, and chose myself instead. I stopped performing for love, stopped negotiating my worth. I didn't win by destroying my parents. I won by walking away whole. If you're watching this and you feel like the extra one in your family, the capable one, the forgotten one, the one who gives and still feels invisible, hear this. You don't have to earn love. You don't have to bleed for belonging. And you don't owe access to anyone who hurts you. Sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is leave the table. If this story hit close to home, share it with someone who needs it. If you stayed till the end, thank you truly. And remember this: the family that tries to break you isn't your destiny. The life you build afterward is. Tell me in the comments what would you have done in my place. And if you want more real stories like this, you know what to do.